I did it again. Uh-oh. We might have to restart this now. This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
Take two.
Take two.
Yeah. So we had some mic issues. My mic kept dropping out for some reason. So if it happens again during this episode, we will go on a short break. I'll put a new mic in, and then we're good to go because we actually have 2 extras. So
yeah,
it should be okay. So
yeah.
And sorry about no regular episode last week, but I thought Ryan's episode was awesome. I got to re-listen to it.
Yeah,
because I did.
To it too.
It was really good. You know, sitting in front of Ryan and listening to him, it's good, but you kind of get lost sometimes because you're focusing on the next question or where you want to lead it or do whatever it is, you know, or just getting lost in his story.
Yep.
That when you go back and listen to it, it's even better, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was great having him here, but that sounds bad saying that listening to it is better than having him here.
No. I know. Getting to relive what we listened to.
Right.
Yeah.
To relive it and pick some more little details out of it and things like that. So
absolutely.
You know, it was nice. And I texted him when I was listening to it, and I was just like, I just let him know, like, appreciate it very much for, and I'm excited for him. I really hope Thank You Disc Golf takes off. So hashtag that anytime you post something about disc golf.
Yep.
That's what I'll start doing.
Yeah.
So I haven't posted in a while. I need to get back to it. So anyways, here we go. Door_disc_golf if you want to see my non-posting. Night_owl_pod if you want to see Jeremy's awesome posting.
Yeah.
He does it every once in a while. And then doordisc.com. We have basically anything you need for disc golf. We have a full shop up here in Fish Creek. So we do have a brick and mortar. And we have a full online store. And you can search by brand, by disc. The thing that we are going to start working on next is putting weights. So
nice. Give
me a variance of rates, and I just have to figure it out. I don't know anything about web design, but I'm learning.
Cool.
I'm learning. So that's going to be up next. So other than that, we'll get into, into the podcast here. Mm-hmm. So if you want to send us any random questions, if you want to send us your bags, so we can talk about them on air, go ahead and do that. We'll give you shout outs. But outside of that, how do you feel about boutique businesses?
Boutique businesses. Huh. I feel like there's a lot of those in Door County.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah, it's one of those weird, well, not weird, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, you might be able to find something that is outside of what you can find at like a big box retailer or something a little more mainstream, things that are a little more niche. Or, you know, a lot of artists up here have like their handmade art and goods and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good way for smaller businesses and things to be unique and not fit into the big box element of stores and business.
Right. I look at boutique as being also one of those things where so I would say I own a boutique motel and lodging establishments because it's kind of that smaller, mom and pop. We do what we want to do, not fitting into the chain thing. But when you look at boutique retailers, I love going into there because what it is they find stuff that they really like. So it's their personality in this store.
Yeah.
It's them. You think of like Spot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking of when you mentioned the stuff that they like. I thought, that's totally Spot and Space, yeah.
Right, Spot and Space. So it is a local lady here, Yenny, and she owns a clothing store and a furniture store.
Yeah.
So Spot, Space, and what's the other one?
Well, she has the coffee shop now, Sip, but it's like I forgot what the home store at like.
I thought that was Space, wasn't it? Anyways,
yeah, whatever.
But it's
Space
all boutique
home
stuff.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
So it's all boutique stuff, and it's basically what she likes, and she throws it in there, and it's fantastic. I mean, I don't wear any of the clothes because they don't flatter my shape.
For a women's boutique, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know if that. Next time I see her, I'm going to ask her if she ever thought about getting like men's stuff, or Freddie, maybe Freddie.
Yeah,
her brother.
Yeah. Well, he's putting up his housing. He bought an old motel, turned it into employee housing, and Airbnb'd some of it, and like it was just like this whole. But he put that up for sale.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, so we'll get back to. So when we look at that for disc golf, I think I am really, really enjoying the boutique nature of disc golf at this point.
Okay.
So we have those larger. We talked about the Walmarts of disc golf, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we see their value, we see their benefit. Innova, Lat 64, maybe MVP fits into that, with the brands that they push out. But now you're starting to see these boutique brands, and not just discs, but like whale sacks.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at, just grip, Max Wax.
Yeah.
And then you get into Clash, Lone Star.
Sure.
As of right now, they're all just pretty much little boutique brands.
Yeah.
And I love it because you get to see the personality of these people come out. When we talked to Josh with Lone Star, it was neat to see the personality of the owners through Josh and through his discs.
Yeah, yeah.
So I really love the intimateness of boutique brands in disc golf.
Yeah.
So, and I hope it stays pretty split. I think we need the Walmarts of disc golf.
Yeah.
But I also think we need the boutiques, the Sips and Spots of disc golf.
Yeah. Because actually, yeah, like Cam and I were talking about that, about how people come into door disc golf and they're looking for that like unique thing. And for the Midwest or our area, Lone Star, you can't find it like anywhere. Like one of the only retailers in our region that carries it. And so, yeah, that's something like truly unique to the area. But then you can go, then they're in like Infinite or, the bigger online stores. So yeah, it's pretty unique.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something, I'm working on getting Clash into the shop as well. And if we can get that into the shop, then, we're really, because there's not a single person in Wisconsin that I know of that carries that. Maybe Glide.
Oh,
maybe.
I'm
not sure though.
For a long time, it was like Castoplast was like that. Now it seems like everybody's getting Castoplast,
Yep.
Maybe that's just with the Latitude 64.
Yeah, producing much more of them.
Much more of it, yeah.
Yeah. And with Disc Unlimited, the way they let it out, it's kind of that FOMO. Like when they drop, like, hey, you can order it. You only have 3 days. And then they cut you off.
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 to 3 weeks later. And then, hey, you can order it. It's only...
Yeah, so, like, who is it? Charlie Good Pasture. He's in Florida, and he's sponsored by Castoplast, and he's got, I think it's Pure Line. Okay. And so he has like a lot of like the Castoplast drops, but it's like very limited sometimes. It's like I've only got, however many runs of like, the first run, like Mint Green, or he's got Tour Series discs of like, Castoplast players or himself. And it's always like super limited, but he's always one of the first people to get them because he is the store that's like closely, and Par Plastics. They're like one of the big.
And I think that's the allure of Castoplast at this point. And I think that's the allure of Clash. And I think once they get them in their hands, because like I'm starting to play, I'm kind of reaching out and just trying a bunch of different stuff right now.
Yeah.
And Castoplast is a fantastic plastic. And the little that I've touched of Clash is fantastic plastics. We've heard grumbles about Castoplast. We've heard grumbles about Clash, but nothing serious that I've ever seen. The plastic is great quality. It comes out clean when you buy it. There's no flashing issues, blah, 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 go on and on.
Right.
Especially now that Lat 64 is pressing Castoplast. Like, I worry about the boutique nature of Castoplast and that FOMO, because if they start just pumping them out there, like, is that really going to be that brand that surprises people? Like, oh, Castoplast.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting to that point where it's a little more boring now than it used to be 6 months ago. So, but we'll see. I think Clash is that next powder keg, I guess, would be the next.
Probably they're trying to break into the U.S. more, so
yeah,
that could be it.
I'd like to see that. So, and then Hooligan Discs.
Oh yeah, because they're produced by Lone Star.
Lone Star, yep.
Yeah,
and they actually just Lone Star is going to start distributing Hooligan now. So instead of just purchasing it through them, they're going to actually start distributing it through the network. So,
oh, cool.
That'll be kind of nice. That'll be kind of nice.
I've kind of seen some of their discs, but don't know much about them.
Yeah, neither do I. And I wonder if they're just repops of Lone Star's molds or if they're truly independent molds from Lone Star.
I don't know. Because I know they have a driver that's kind of Warbirdish.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called, but I was like, I'm wondering if it's similar. If same. What you're saying, different molds, or if it's.
You wonder, because I mean, like Plastic Addicts did that, and then Ledgestone does that, and they kind of just repop old molds or current molds and just name them something else.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So, and then I wrote something down while we were talking, and I can't remember what it meant now. All right, so what'd you buy? Throw hanger flipper. Yeah, it says favorite, but I don't remember what favorite is.
Okay. Let's see. I didn't get anything this week. I did last week, though, like tournament week. Mm-hmm. I got, let's see, another Zenith.
Okay.
Because that was like the stock equivalent disc I got for disc at the tournament. And then I got actually cashed. So I got a Halloween resistor. MVP resistor.
Yeah.
I forgot if it's Axiom or MVP because it's got a white overmold, which is like normally the colored ones are Axiom, but I think it's actually MVP.
I think because it's the Eclipse. I think.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense, and that's an overstable fairway, like 740.5, I think, or something. 2. Yeah, and I threw it the other day. It was pretty beefy. And then let's see what else. I got 2 of Casey White P2s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He had this Shield series. He and Ella both dropped.
Where did you get them?
From Discmania.
Oh, okay. I wonder if there's still any on there.
I think there was.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 2 teal ones, and they got the caricature of him.
Yeah.
And he's got a tilt in his hand, which is kind of funny. And it says, "Tilt, baby."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So. I got to get it. I get that, and then have him sign one, and throw it up on the shop wall again, and then.
So I think that's about it.
All right. This week, or last week, I guess it's been 2 weeks. I did. Oh, I got I bought a Castoplast. What's
Grim
the
X?
driver? Yeah, the Grim X.
Nice.
That was the only thing I bought. Was a Grim X, and it's K1 Soft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind the K1 Soft, but I think I will probably try the Glow next.
Yeah.
But I hear that the Glow is much less stable than the K1 Soft.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it throws well.
It does, yeah.
It's not a glidey disc. Well, from what I was throwing, it's not a glidey disc. I mean,
no, yeah.
You put some movement on it and it'll go, but it's not. It doesn't stay in the air.
No,
it's not. It doesn't try to stay in the air. Yeah, it's not one of those ones where you're surprised that you get distance on it. Mm-hmm. Now, this is coming from. I feel like I'm at a real noodle arm stage right now, but I went out to hole 1 at Max. I mean at the Orchards, and I played it from the long position.
Yep.
And I was maybe, I don't know, within 3 or 4 feet of the cart path.
Oh,
so
okay.
Not a bad throw, maybe 380 or something like that,
sure.
Somewhere around in that area. And it's a little downhill.
Yep.
And I was just like 3 or 4 feet over the cart path. So it wasn't great, but it wasn't a bad drive. I felt good about the drive.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe that's, I don't know how far that is.
I couldn't tell you.
It felt like a good throw. But like I said, it just felt like it got smashed. It was getting smashed. And there was no wind when I threw it.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it was good. And then I threw it from the parking lot towards hole 1's pin 2. And I don't know how far that was because I don't know how to measure it, but it flew well. It got just a slight turn and then just dumped. So
yeah,
that was the only thing I bought. And it's a horrible color. It's not a horrible color, but even on that real bright green grass and it was that green color, it like kind of camouflages itself. It was crazy. So, all right. Anything else? And that will be a thrower for me.
No, nothing I can think of.
All right. So we'll go through our preview. So 22-23 Disc Golf Pro Tour season has officially started already. So just 1 week after it finished, or 1 week after, 2 weeks after the season finishes. We're going into the 22-23 season. So that is how they're referring to it now because of the two Silver Series.
Right.
So next year will be the 23-24, 24-25. So which is pretty cool. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me at all. We'll talk about Eagles' big news. We'll talk about the big money skins match. What rules that we hope they change for next year or add or whatever it is. We'll do some player speculation, and we'll talk a little bit about prospects for Nicola Castro that we've been hearing rumors about. And then outside of that, we'll have a random question, hopefully. And if not, we'll get into shop updates, and then we'll be off and on our way. So for reference sake, we will do our best to get 2 episodes in every week. But with the off season, sometimes there's not a lot to talk about. So if we have some random crud that we'll talk about it. But if not, we may not get a Monday episode, right?
Right.
All right. Sounds good. So with that being said, 2022-23 Disc Golf Pro Tour season has officially started. And it started with the
Lake Marshall Open.
And that's all I know.
Yeah. It's a beautiful course. Like I watched some of it. I didn't get a chance to watch a ton of it. I know Macy Valadiaz won for FPO, and that I don't
Was
remember.
it Isaac Robinson? No, that doesn't sound right. It was somebody.
It was somebody.
It was somebody.
Let's just take a look-see real quick. I know Dickerson was there. Mm-hmm. Luke Sampson. Luke Sampson
yeah,
won.
that's right.
That's who won.
Yes.
Yeah. So he
starts off with 50 points for next year. I mean, he already has 50 points. So as of right now, he is the leader of the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah. That's something.
Points champion right now.
Right. Yeah. I think he was the leader round 1 when I checked.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I think that's about all I know. And then after Lake Marshall, I don't know if you saw, Macy Valadiaz and Zach Melton had a little bet going on throughout the season. And so the bet was that if she got her first Pro Tour win during the season, she would be able to shave Zach's head. Mm-hmm. So Zach was a man of her word. It was his word.
His word, yeah.
And
shaved his
head.
So the floof is no longer there.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Zach Melton is kind of iconic for that hair.
Right.
So I haven't seen the final result. I just saw it half done.
Okay.
I haven't seen the final result.
Yeah, he's still got it's crazy because he's got the red beard, but then it's like down closer. It looked like it was kind of like salt and peppery. Like I was just like, wow. I think they went down to like a 3 guard maybe, so it was like pretty short, you know.
Jeez.
But
yeah, especially from what it was. I mean, that's pretty short.
Right. That's a ton of hair. Like between him and Calvin, that's a ton of hair.
Yes. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though. I'm glad he did that and he's a man of his word. Like a lot of people say stuff like that and it never happens.
Yeah.
You know, but with that, it really happened. So that's awesome.
That is.
But I'm excited that they're doing it this season this way. So Jeff Spring was on
Nick and Matt.
Was it Nick and Matt? Okay.
Yeah.
And he would basically he said this is what we're doing and this is how it's going to go. And he was pretty good about saying that what's the new and fun and exciting thing they asked. And he was pretty good about saying there will be something. And that was it.
Yeah,
you know?
he just kind of teased something like he wouldn't say, but he's like, yeah, you can expect some surprises this year.
Yeah, so I think that's neat. And then you saw that they changed a little bit of some of the tour. So they're actually starting... Yeah, they're changing up. So they're starting in Vegas, but then they jump over to Texas, and then they go somewhere else from Texas.
Yeah.
Rather than where they went.
Right.
So, which is kind of neat. So it's going to change the tour life up a little bit. They're still keeping it pretty convenient for everybody that's driving. And then next year, Worlds is at Hornets Nest, right?
No, I think
Not Hornets Nest. The one up.
D-Glow.
No, it's the one Jeff Spring does. Why can't I think of it? It's not Hornets Nest. It's
Green Mountain. No.
Anyways, it's there.
Yeah.
In Vermont.
Yeah, Green Mountain Champion.
It's Green Mountain. Okay.
Yeah.
So then they'll basically, and that's August. It's in August.
Right. I think what's happening is since it's there, I thought they said that one of the playoffs was maybe going to be, is that right? Was it going to be D-Glow?
Was it in Jonesboro?
I don't know.
Well, we're talking out of our butts because we don't.
I listened to it, but I didn't listen to like.
Yeah.
It's close, but then he said, I think the championships can be at Nevin. The tour championships can be at Nevin again.
Yeah, it'll stay at Nevin.
Yeah.
They don't have any plans of changing. They plan on opening some meadow holes up, adding some holes to do some meadow work. So yeah, it sounds like everything that they're doing is in the appropriate direction that it should be. Mm-hmm. So, and if we could remember the course that they were going to have the championship at or the world's at, then, but that's it.
Yeah. And then I think, I don't remember where I saw it, but I'm pretty sure it said something about adding tour events to somewhere in Montana, Missouri, and there was one other spot, but I don't remember where it was.
Hopefully Wisconsin?
Yeah, hopefully, but I don't think it's...
It's so, like, how much shade is cast over Wisconsin being, like, the third or fourth most populated disc golf area in the world? Like, most courses, players, rounds played, like all that stuff. I mean, like third or fourth, if I'm right now. Where are the championships? Like,
I mean, they did some courses. US women's disc golf championship. But in 2020, it was the last time silver,
and it was a silver series.
Yeah, it was silver series.
Yeah,
it was a big deal because everybody, for the most part, like a lot of people
showed up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I wish they would do some more here. I mean, do we not have the courses that, I don't know. I mean, I can think of some really nice courses, but maybe they're not tour level. Maybe they're not championship level. Who knows? Just going to have to buy some land and make one.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to lot of land.
Another Eagles cross-up.
Yeah. No. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's move right into Eagles' big news. For those of you that don't know, Eagle is no longer vegan. It made me cry a little bit. Actually,
tears of joy now that he's eating meat.
I thought it was I understand the reason why he felt like he had to come out and make this announcement. I also think it's sad that he felt like he had to come out and make this announcement, you know.
But I think a lot of people could say, I think that's a big thing to identify as being a vegan.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah, I think it kind of is.
Yeah.
Not like it's like, a scarlet letter, or like a badge of honor or anything like that. But I think just it's a lifestyle choice that, I don't know, because I have a feeling, not that it's like more earth, but I think they look at like harming the animals. Kind of
I don't know. I just don't know. It's maybe some of his fan base came from, and he did mention that some of his fan base came from him being vegan. That's how they made the connection.
Yeah.
So I get that. He doesn't want to make people feel like he's betraying them, but he did basically say that, surprise, surprise, he has more energy when he eats meat.
Right. I mean, there's a higher protein count there than eating just plant-based protein.
But the thing that surprises me is he doesn't just go out and have a hamburger for his first red meat, like escapade into red meat. He has bison liver. Like,
right. I heard that.
Who chooses bison liver for that first?
Crazy. It's really lean.
Super.
But bison's really lean, yeah.
But the flavor on bison liver, like you're kind of dipping your toes into the red meat world.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a Liver King thing, but bison liver, like liver has a very distinct flavor. And it has any liver, and bison liver, I guess I can't say whether, but it has a very irony metallic flavor to it. Like you're kind of sucking on a penny, like liver just has that flavor to it.
Yeah.
And people are going to say, it depends how you could, like, I've been a chef / cook for 2 decades, maybe, about 2 decades, maybe a little longer, 2.5 decades. It doesn't matter what you do to liver. It always has that flavor. Like, it is what it is because that's what processes all that stuff in your body, So the liver always has that metallic flavor to it. So for a red meat eater to just jump into liver, or a non-meat eater to just jump into liver, like, that's kind of nutty.
It is.
Like, that's a big jump. And if you like that.
I'm curious how long it took his body to adjust, because I know there's times where Alyssa's my wife's vegetarian, I think I've mentioned it before, but she's accidentally had meat and felt awful. Like, like something's made with like chicken stock rather than vegetable stock, or something like that. And she can tell. And it's like, oh, my stomach.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if is that a placebo thing, or is it true? Like she actually feels it.
No, I think she really does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard that from others, because some friends of ours that are vegan as well, that vegan. She's vegetarian or vegan?
Oh, sorry, she's vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had some friends that were vegan that had the same thing, and I think to myself, like, man, why would something that we're supposed to consume like make you feel bad? It's like, I don't feel bad when I eat fish, but I don't eat fish that often.
Yeah, same.
Like, I don't feel bad when I eat lettuce, and I don't eat lettuce that often. But it's strange to me. But I've read some things in your biotics, like of your gut biome.
Yeah.
That if you don't eat certain things for so long, if you go to eat them again, then you have issues with them. Like a lot of people are lactose, because once we're done as babies digesting that milk, that some of those enzymes just kind of go away.
Right.
And then as you mature, you start eating some more of that stuff, and you can't process it. And that's why people fart and poop and all that stuff being, lactose. So, and a lot of people are mildly lactose and they don't know, like when you have that glass of milk and then you're lighting up the bedroom that night,
Well, we're not supposed to have, we're not intended to have milk. That's the crazy thing.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard
we're
that
the
before.
only animals that drink another animal's milk.
True. Yeah.
So it's really not supposed to happen beyond birth.
Yeah. That's kind of gross too, though.
Yeah.
I like eating cheese. I'll eat cheese on anything.
Yeah.
Like, just add it. I don't care even if it's processed cheese. Like, even if it's not cheese but tastes like cheese, I'm good. Like the stuff that comes out of a can, all about it too.
You ever see the video? I don't remember what it was. There's a guy who had like a Ritz cracker or something, and he just had like the cracker, and then like he sprayed it, and all of a sudden like the easy cheese like comes up through the hole.
Have you ever tried that?
No.
I don't know how he did it. He's a magician.
The holes are like,
they're tiny.
Yeah.
So I even went into my garage, got a drill bit, like sized the nozzle, got a drill bit, slid the cracker on. Everything was great. Like it fit perfectly. Went to do it, and it just went everywhere.
So it's got to be CGI or something.
Whatever it is. Or he's just a magician, and he's like the man of men. Like you talk about like Chuck Norris, and then there's the Cheese Whiz guy.
Yeah. Right.
So, all right. So, good for Eagle. Garrett Gerthy probably has some amazing stuff for you. They just made that vegetarian jerky or the vegan jerky.
The mushroom. Yeah, it's like mushrooms or something. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but yeah, right. Like, he's like, well, Garrett, guess what?
Can you make a beef one now?
Yeah.
I would love a brisket one.
Yeah, buffalo. You make buffalo jerky. Yeah. Buffalo.
Oh, man. So what's that? Where's the whole marketing ploy with that one now?
I don't know.
Huh.
Well, he might still. He's probably still down with it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, he's been eating it for so long. I'm sure he's fine with it. So, all right. You ready to get negative?
Yeah.
All right. The big money skins. Here we go. What an absolute disaster. I didn't mind. I mean, in my eyes, it was still disc golf, but like some of the tones on the cameras were way off, pixelated, freezing for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time. Audio drops. The announcers, I wasn't too disappointed with the announcers, other than the hired sportscaster. Like, didn't even make an attempt to understand disc golf.
No. They just threw him in there, and he's just making random comments. And like, he was asking questions, and he was trying to relate other sports to the sport. So you could tell he wasn't in the know. I mean, he was trying. Like, right.
I don't want to beat the guy up too much, but man, like,
he's probably seen a few things on like SportsCenter Top 10 or something. He was like, oh yeah, I've watched disc golf.
Yeah. Well, it's like even like discussing the tee pad, like, so they step up onto the concrete block or what?
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm surprised he didn't call it like a runway. It's like they're ready for takeoff.
Yeah. Oh, the slab. That's what he called it.
Yeah.
Stepped up onto the slab, the concrete slab, and you're like, Is that a great, like, using your voice to articulate this beautiful scene, and you use concrete slab? Like,
it's like, how do you make something fun sound less fun?
Exactly. Exactly.
You're just it was just like the purest, like dull sounding thing he could come up with.
Exactly.
Like, oh God.
Yeah. And your job as an announcer is to, like I said, to just paint this beautiful picture with, your vernacular. Like,
right.
Just make this beautiful scene in these people's heads with your voice. And he's like, steps up onto the concrete slab. Not really. I mean, I get it. It's very literal. I understand exactly what's happening, but holy moly, like, it was bad. And then we talk about the green screen, like straight out of like the Zoom catalog. Like, all right, Zoom. Oh, this looks like a good one. We'll just use that.
It was so funny because the other night, Alyssa falls asleep watching The Nanny a lot. And so there's this
Fran Drescher, man, her voice is awesome.
Yeah. So, but there's this scene, like very 90s, they got into a taxi cab. And so it's like the outline of the cab and then like the totally terrible, like green screen, like you see the car go like, it's supposed to be turning one way, like very sharply. So everybody like leans to one side and it's like the background like shifts like back and forth and all this stuff. It's like, wow, this reminds me of something that I've seen really recently.
Exactly. Oh, it was so bad. And I think there were some really kind of cringy moments too with like Contact and interviews and like Germ interviewed Conrad and it was pretty good. And then the broadcaster interviews Heimberg. And there was some like, arms around Heimberg and like, and there's some memes out there where Heimberg's like sitting there with his head down and the dude has his arm around him. And like, so all in all, it was basically a disaster. So,
what was it? They had 4 different websites or like that.
4 or 5 different, something like that.
For different feeds. And
you'd get different information from each one of them.
Yeah.
And then it was pay-per-view. And they didn't televise Friday. They said they did all their tests on Friday. Everything was good. So Friday was the qualifying.
Right. Like Eagles Crossing had laid down like a bunch of cable and like they had a mesh network, Wi-Fi network. And like apparently it worked until people got there.
Exactly.
It just bogged the network down.
Well, and I think that's what it was. Is it worked when there was nobody there.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got people there, then it just went down. And they hired a...
quote unquote.
Yeah. A sports crew that does film sports.
Yep.
Sporting events. And I just don't think they understood the...
Well, if you've never filmed disc golf and like understand... Yeah, there's some humming going on.
Yeah.
Understand the idea of like the throw cam and a catch cam.
Exactly. Yeah, because so they were trying to place themselves like in the middle.
Yeah.
And trying to follow it. And the camera work was atrocious. And it was, I guess, this Mason Sports Productions or something like that, I think like was the name of it. And it was atrocious. It was bad. So there was a lack of vetting going on. And unfortunately, GK Pro was backing it.
Yep.
And they were talking it up. And they were the ones that, from what I understand, were taking the money. I don't know exactly how it all worked out.
I don't either.
So... they looked bad. Unfortunately, it wasn't them that had the issues, but it came out to them. So GK Pro does some awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, does some great stuff. I love GK Pro. So moving forward with it, Friday, so Saturday was an absolute disaster. They just stopped So
they moved it to their YouTube channel.
So that, I think, was a mistake. So I think I understand what they were trying to do. Like, this sucks. We're going to get the people's money back. Let's go ahead and just broadcast it live.
Yeah.
So instead, they had this very captive audience that was finite. Like, there was only so many people that were going to watch this catastrophe.
Yep.
And then they're like, let's put it out to the 75 million people that are on YouTube to potentially see, and then they throw it out to YouTube. So then the whole disc golf world sees what's happening and then the chaos starts happening. And then they end up in the broadcast early. Then they, from what I understand, they didn't even do the broadcast on Sunday, the final day,
No.
they just like said, "Meh, we can't do it." And, so it was just one of those things like, all in all, I think there was a lot of bad choices. They didn't vet the individuals that they brought on. And I don't know if it is a ego or humility thing by the owner that he feels like he has to control everything and he's the one that's going to make the choices.
That's what it kind of seems like was happening. Even because I was listening to an interview, like he's the one that put up like the extra $50,000 because it was originally only going to be
because he didn't want the banners, like
right.
bad
He didn't
banners
want
there.
bad banners and all that stuff. Yeah, he really wanted to control what was. I was like thinking about it. I was like, well, you want to host Worlds here in a year or whatever? What are you gonna do when like all the tents are up or like major sponsors are there and like, nope, I'm gonna pay to. You can't do that.
No, not at all. So it leaves a bad taste in a lot of disc golfers' mouths because they're already starting to set up for the 2023 Big Skins.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, like give it some time to kind of reset. Like give it some time for some people to forget about what happened and then make the improvements.
But I think you can go into planning now so you're better prepared.
I agree.
Because this happened in like a matter of a couple of weeks that they like, hey, let's get all these golfers together and then get this all set up.
Well, it was a little more than a couple of weeks. I mean, because we had known about it for months and months. The live broadcast came together in a couple of weeks.
That's what it sounded like.
And why? My humble opinion is, you have a known quantity in a lot of disc golf production agencies.
Yep.
I mean, there's what, like 4 or 5. Like there's Ace Run, Jomez, GK Pro,
Gatekeeper,
Central Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, Smashbox for that matter. Like get Terry out there with an iPhone, it would have been better. and they decide to just go off the reservation. It seems weird. And I'm not being like that disc golf protectionist. Like I'm just looking at it going, you have 100 G's on the line, $100,000 on the line, and you're going to go somewhere outside of a known quantity. Like you have vetted these people. We have had countless productions with these people. Mm-hmm. Why would you go outside of that? You know the quantity there.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I think part of it was that during the first Skins match, the result got, leaked. Okay. So they're like, okay, if we go live.
Well, the result still got leaked.
It still got leaked anyway. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're kind of aiming for is like, okay, we can have this big reveal and not have the result actually be leaked and it'll be more exciting.
But what's the hush hush for?
I don't know.
Like, what does that do for anybody? I don't know. I mean, I can think of a few people in our lives that we know, like, are all about the don't spoil.
Right.
But even for that, like, is it that big of a deal? I don't know. I've just never been a spoiler guy. Like, if I hear the results, I hear the results. Yeah. Like, it's not going to stop me from watching or not watching. I just don't get it. Like, what's the big reveal for?
I don't know.
Like, don't you want to put that product out there so people want to come to it? People want to watch it. People want, like all those things.
Yeah.
And why not change the script, which should be changed, of free final day pay?
Oh,
that's when you put it behind a paywall.
Right.
Like, you want to know the result right away and you want to see this round and see these people play. Now you got to pay.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Like, that's the way to go. And I have a feeling that will probably start to happen. I would be surprised if Disc Golf Network doesn't go that direction at one point.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be next year. Well, maybe that's the big surprise he's talking about. The big change.
Could be. But thank God that they just had the regular post produced for the final round with Luke and Big Germ.
Yeah. It was much better, much more professional. And I wonder if that guy was part of Mason Productions or whatever, the announcer that they had.
Maybe.
And maybe when they decided to axe it, like, he went with them.
Yep.
So, but, they made the choice. They made the hard decision of saying, we're just not going to have it live because it's not worth having live, and then move on. So you got to give them credit for that, but
true.
I'm not sure if there's much else we can give them credit for at this point. And I feel bad for GK Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's too bad. But Calvin Heimberg is supposedly the winner, right?
Yeah.
So
you can go find it on GK Pro's site or YouTube channel.
There you go. All right. So what rules do you hope they change for this coming season? And when I say they, PDGA.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, here's a funny thing that happened someone was telling me that happened at the tournament was they went out of bounds, brought it back in. I forgot what the situation was. Mm-hmm. And they had the option to go, because now you don't have to go perpendicular in. You have the full 180, and someone did it. And there's like, they were trying to go out there, and they got called on it. They're like, you can't do that. And it's like, well, you didn't read you obviously don't know. It was somebody in rec.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is maybe Ben Kurowski was on the card, I think.
Okay.
Or someone, I think he was the one telling me about it. Mm-hmm. And, so guy brought it out, and he's like trying to go forward, but he elected to go back instead, I think, because he had a better lie from what it was. And
sure.
I don't know. That seems like a rule that I think just bringing it out rather than taking that full 180 degrees, going back to that would be a little easier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the essence of that rule is if you go out into a corner that pinches you to where you don't have the ability to have no part of your body out of bounds, because you've got to throw from inbounds. You can't have a plant foot out of bounds, and you can't have even your support foot out of bounds. Mm-hmm. So you have to be completely in bounds when you throw, just like on the tee pad. You can't have a foot off the tee pad and a foot on the tee pad. You have to have only your supporting point on the tee pad, and then you can have your other foot on the tee pad. So I think that's what it is. It's kind of clearing it up. So like, if you went out about, it's like a 1% chance that these things happen. But if you went out on a corner and you could only bring it in, laterally, like at the beginning of one, and you had to have your back foot out of bounds.
Yeah. That came up on my card, actually. The guy that actually won MA3, I played with him the whole tournament. Mm-hmm. He had a disc land just in bounds. And, he's like, trying to straddle putt or whatever. Like, technically your disc is inbounds. You can't really take relief from that. Like,
well, you can always take 3 meter away from a OB line, always.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, so like I think he elected to actually straddle.
Okay, just straddle out.
Right, and he ended up coming up short, and it actually cost him a stroke, and he had to go to a playoff for it. Oh. And so someone on the card's like, well, you're supposed to get relief, and we're like, yeah. Because like he's like, well, I can't have my foot out of bounds. So I was like, well, yeah, like you
definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he actually seconded himself and said, I'm okay with taking that lie and taking the stroke that I had just thrown rather than going back and doing it. Yeah, I was like, are you sure? Like,
just take a provisional.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's
I don't know.
Always the rule. If you're unsure, just take the provisional, play out both shots.
Said, yeah, I'd rather just take it as it is.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. So, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Another rule I'd like to see changed is that the Mando rule. The one where you like
that,
where you go through.
They just changed
back
it this
around,
year,
and then you have to. Yeah, that one's tricky to memorize and keep track of.
Right, because if at any point it goes back behind the Mando, so you make it through the Mando on a cut roll angle.
Yep, and it comes back,
rolls back around. You miss the Mando.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And I understand, once again, I understand the sentiment, but in practicality, it makes zero sense.
Absolutely.
It's like these large corporations make these rules at the top, and when you get down to the actual practicality of using these rules on the ground level, they make zero sense at all.
Yeah.
And that's what the PGA did with that one. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you be punished for making a good shot that gets a bad roll or gets a nasty kick or something like that?
Exactly.
You did what you were supposed to do off the tee, and the result afterwards you get punished for. And it's not like an OB. I mean, this is Mandos are there for safety.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's what they should be used for. It's just for safety. So, okay, it circles back around or somehow that's not going to hurt anybody.
No.
You know, so that's the purpose of a Mando. But I understand that they like, well, you don't know what happens after it hits. It takes the question out of blah, blah, blah. Like, did it go past it or did it not? Like, what does it matter? Like, if it's behind the tree and you're to the right or the left, whatever the designated Mando is, you didn't go past it, you know?
Yeah.
It was easy. And that's what you have the card's discretion for. You know, you let all the players on the card decide.
Yep.
Oh, any other rules?
Those are just a couple off the top that I can think of.
Okay. I don't know if I have any blatant, like, oh my goodness, this is a horrible rule. But what I would like the rule to change is step putting inside circle 2.
Yes.
I would like them to extend the step putt or extend the circle basically to circle 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So basically all the rules that you would have in circle 1, push them out to 66 feet.
James Conrad might not like that.
He would be disappointed.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot like Kevin Jones, all those people, but I think, and Brody Smith, like, I would like to see that circle extended out to 66 feet or whatever the 33 meters is or whatever it is. Not 33 meters.
No, it's more than
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
33 meters is big.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like 90 some feet. But whatever the circle 2 is. So I would like to see that extended out there just simply because it is going to force people to work on a more substantial putt, like something that they're going to actually have to be able to get to the basket. And it's going to bring a little more levity to the putting circle because these people that have the step putt, good for them. It's a craft. They worked on it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But we want to make the game just a little bit harder, right? That's what a lot of people kind of consensus is. We need to get it a little more harder, a little more difficult because the putting green is not hard enough. Kind of common consensus for the most part, maybe majority consensus, let's say. So why not extend the circle to 66 feet? And there you go.
Yeah.
And you're not step putting within, 34 feet.
You don't ever have to call it into question. I mean, not like it does because it's usually marked off pretty good, but there's always that chance.
Right. Yeah. And there would be some situations where, step putting is advantageous outside, but not inside and vice versa. And I think it just takes that question out of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the only one that I have that I would love to be seen change. Now, ultimate, like overarching, stuff, like I'd like to see some of the grip that the PDJ has on like OB rules and island rules and stuff like that to kind of go away. Like let's let people be imaginative with their tournaments as long as it's not unfair. I think there has to be a certain standard, but for the PDJ to approve every single, like island hole makes zero sense to me. If it's a fair island that's played every single year and you have a drop zone and then you have an island and it's a fair island, at least 60 feet or something like that, why does it need to be approved?
I don't know.
Why does it need special exemption? So, but that's that. That's really the only two that I have. So let us know if you think that there are any others that need to be addressed. All right. Let's go with player speculations. So we already know that Kyle Klein is 4 years extension. Heimberg is a 5-year extension.
Yep.
And I've heard a lot of grumblings about Nico going to Lone Star. So I worry about that on the manufacturer side. If Nico goes to Lone Star and Nico has one of his episodes, I think it's going to really hurt Lone Star.
Yeah.
And Lone Star has a fantastic momentum going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
But on the other hand, if Nico does Nico and doesn't have one of those epic blow-ups, I think he could really help Lone Star.
Yeah.
Is the risk worth the wait?
Yeah, because I think that's kind of what Clash was banking on too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
and it's funny too, like, because we saw Chandler Kramer make a name for himself. I think he finished in the top 40 for on Pro Tour this year. And he's
side note, Brody finished 30th, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard that.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Better than I thought he would, honestly.
That's overachieving.
It is. It is. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's a name that they can kind of bank on. They also just had, what's his name? Zachary Nash. He was the NAGT winner. He's sponsored by Lone Star. He'll be in the Champions Cup, qualified for Champions Cup next year. So they have some younger people. Who knows if he'll move up to, tour professionally or not. But
both of the NAGTT winners, the male and female, or the mixed and the
Cadence
female?
is Discmania.
Oh, I thought she was Lone Star for some reason.
No, yeah, she's
okay.
Cadence Burge.
Okay.
She's been with Discmania for a little while. But it seems like they have some names that they can attach themselves to or have in there already. That I don't know, but I mean, Nico, when he's on, and he can be a top 10 player. So I think.
Well, and he has a love or hate personality with his crowd.
Yeah.
But he has a really dedicated crowd.
Yeah.
Because he appeals to a very common disc golfer. So, I think once again, is a squeeze worth the juice. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of to say, like, is that work that you're going to have to put into Nico and the attention you're going to have to give him worth the lure he's going to bring?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know Nico personally, so I don't know exactly how. I mean, we all have demons. I don't know exactly what his demons are. Where, there's a lot of other players that are coming up for extensions or contracts that they're demons, and they're pretty known quantities, don't have a lot of issues. But do they move the needle like Nico does? Because he's such a controversial figure.
Yeah.
Both good and bad. I mean, man, like, risky choice.
It is.
Risky choice.
Definitely. Hopefully he's gone through therapy and everything's working out, and who knows?
Yeah. You kind of hope so. I mean, is Lone Star the Patriots of disc golf? Like, can they just bring any person with any type of attitude and make them work?
Maybe.
It's like, who knows? Who knows? But I don't think we've seen that company yet. It's with Nico, but maybe he is. Maybe he was one of those guys, and maybe, and we don't know anything. Maybe Nico has really truly been doing a really good job at working on himself, whatever it needs to be. I have no assumption on exactly what should be worked on, but maybe he's working on himself. Maybe he's doing a good job, and like,
yeah, that could be.
Like, it's hard to say whether it'd be worth it or not.
Yeah.
So, talk about Kramer. So his contract is up this year.
It is. Yeah.
So, you think he's going to re-up and stay with Lone Star?
I think so.
Okay. Even if they bring someone like Nico on?
Yeah, I think they can still re-up with him.
Okay. Because I think the lure from Nico is the fact that he can still throw Lone Star and Gateway.
Yeah.
I think that's because they don't quite have a full lineup yet.
But I mean, Josh was talking about them having
like 20 more molds.
Yeah, like he's just talking about having upwards of like 40 pretty soon. Yeah. So it could be happening.
I hope so. I hope so. I think he will too, because I think he's the top dog on the team, and I think he will continue to be the top dog on the team unless Nico comes on. I think he'll continue to be the top dog on the team. If he goes to any other manufacturer, I can't think of another manufacturer. Maybe Clash, because they don't really have a representative.
Right.
I mean, a notable representative. He's going to be the top dog. I mean, he's not going to be the top dog. Like, he's going to be just another player on their team. He's just going to wear a badge on his back. Yeah. Whereas right now he's the face of Lone Star. So, I don't know. I'd like to see it stay. I mean, I'd like to see him do it. So, who else is coming up? What do you think they're going to do with Burr? So Burr's one. Now, he still has one more year on his contract.
He signed it, yeah.
I think he has one more year.
Like he and Kevin Jones signed around the same time.
And Kevin did the extension was it beginning of this year or middle of this year sometime? Or
Right when we first started.
Well, okay. So the extension was at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, but it was for a longer term.
It's like 5 years, I think.
I think so too. Gannon was a little shorter. I think Gannon was like 2.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think with the notoriety that he's gotten, the play, do you think he's going to stay with
I think
Prodigy?
so.
Okay. What about his buddy Alden?
Ooh.
Because he's up this year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Thomas Gilbert is as well, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Alden's a good one. He's only 21, 22, 21. Yeah, in that area.
Yeah. And he's a fairly infectious, likable guy.
Yeah.
Does some good stuff on social media.
Yep. Yeah, he and Gannon have that vlog going. The two of them. It's pretty funny. Even like Gavin Babcock shows up on there and everyone's on.
Yes.
I think Prodigy just has a good young stable of people that they can kind of ride it out. Even, with Kevin. Kevin's getting up there a little bit. Like mid-20s.
Yeah.
Like
a little old.
Oh, no. It's just it's kind of funny to say
like
that. But
the Leonardo DiCaprio of disc manufacturers or what? They hit like 20, 21, they just get rid of them.
Right. No. Yeah, I think they'll both keep them. I think Alden kind of made a good stride this year with how he was on tour, and he's consistent. He plays pretty safe. Like you don't see him go on OB, and sometimes maybe he plays too safe.
Potentially.
But I think he's a solid disc golfer that is making a good name for himself with Prodigy.
Yeah. I think so. And Thomas Gilbert, I don't know if he's going to really move anywhere. I mean, I don't know if he makes the choice to move right now. He's not really marketable. Like, he won Canadian Nationals.
Yeah.
What else did he do, really? I mean, he was in the mix here and there.
Right.
But
yeah.
He didn't, like, when he was with...
He's not moving the needle.
No, right, exactly. When he was with Innova, I felt like he moved the needle more.
Yeah.
I think that's why he went to Prodigy. And then... But here's the thing I have to say about Prodigy. Prodigy is... There's something going on with Prodigy that I can't figure out. Their discs simply don't sell.
Yeah.
They don't have a real firm grasp on any market except for Atlanta and maybe some really centralized areas.
Well, but they're big in Europe.
And they're big in Europe, yes, correct. But why is it not translating in the United States? And I think we've briefly talked about this, I think, or maybe it was just off air. But, like, what is going on? I mean, they're good discs.
Yeah.
Like, they have a really wide range of throwers, and they have some super stable stuff to some really understable stuff. They got, really good putters, really good mids. I mean, a couple of their mids are some of the best mids in the game.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Like, I can't quite figure it out. And they just simply don't move discs. I mean, at all.
Yeah.
At all. So, I mean, as far as we're going as far as to basically not offering Prodigy anymore. Like, I haven't ordered Prodigy in forever. And I would really love to continue to offer Prodigy, but at this point, like, it's just taking up shelf space where I can put other discs to sell.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather grow Lone Star or bring Clash in or, I don't know, anything other than Prodigy just sitting there.
Well, I think we were talking about it too with Ryan when he was here or we were talking about like the Kale line. The Kale line isn't even made by Prodigy. It's made by Yikun.
So I got a big update from the new rep because our rep got canned.
Yeah.
because he couldn't meet quotas. And I won't go any further. And so we have a new rep, and the new rep let us know that they're bringing everything back into the United States, or they have brought everything back into the United States. So I think it was just a short-term thing just because of whatever it would be. I think they were retooling all their stamps and retooling all their molds and all that stuff. If I recall rightly what they were doing, because they were having a lot of issues. So they heard the word, they figured out an issue or figured out a fix for it, but they had to shut their plant down basically for a little while. So I think that's what happened. Speculation, pulling it together from multiple sources. But I think that was pretty direct from the guy that I spoke to, from our new rep.
Because, I'm pretty sure the Shadowfax and the Strider were made in China.
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I know I've seen that stamp on some of their discs. I know like the H7 that just came out, it was from China.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It sucks because I like the company. Like what they've done for the sport. I mean, they're a very pivotal company in disc golf in general. I mean, what they did in 2012 was mind blowing. And just unfortunately, you just don't move them, you know? And they have pros, but it doesn't seem like they have. How often do you go onto a disc golf course and see someone throwing a Prodigy? Anything Prodigy. I know one guy that throws Prodigy up here. That's it. Well, one guy in like West Bend that throws Prodigy. Like, that's it. So, all right. Who else? Let's see.
Well, we've talked to Holland.
Yeah.
During her interview, and she said she's maybe looking to.
She's open to prospects.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see because she's really hitting the social media game hard again. She's starting to release a lot of videos, and she will be a catch or a great re-signing.
Yeah.
I just think that DD just kind of blew their wad on the two that they. Is that an appropriate way to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wad of cash.
Yeah, wad of cash. There you go.
Yeah.
I feel like their salary cap per se, I don't know if they have anything left. I mean, with Kona and Ricky.
Well, yeah, because now they also have to look at re-signing Valerie and Mason.
Mason, yeah. And I really think they need to get another FPO on board.
Yeah. I mean, Paige True played 2 events, or two pro tour events this year.
Yep.
Obviously, she's busy being a mom and on the East Coast and everything. But, I mean, being a former world champion, I don't think she's DD for life. Her family's too ingrained in
potentially Kona.
Oh, yeah. I mean, her family's with Innova. But, yeah.
So, and I think if they were smart, they would try to hold on to Holland.
Yeah, I think so.
I really do. But I think there's going to be some big numbers coming to Holland. Not bigger numbers, let's say that, coming to Holland.
Yeah.
So what about Haley? Do you think Haley's going to just stick with Innova? Because it was just a 1-year contract from what I understand, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. 1-year contract.
Shouldn't have done much.
Another person besides USWDGC. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I feel like there's probably something going on behind the scenes where she wasn't out on tour as much.
Yeah.
So whatever that is, I think they'll give her another extension. Okay. Oh, another DD player, Gavin Rathbun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had they had a 1-year thing, but maybe there was a option for a second year. I don't remember what the deal was.
I remember listening to the interview because he had that big shoulder issue and he was just coming off of shoulder surgery and all that stuff. And he said he felt like he was still fairly timid and he really didn't produce anything this year.
I think he won Illinois States.
Yeah.
And then he had some decent showings at a couple tournaments.
Yeah.
Saw him on some feature cards.
What, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Not lead cards, feature cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not lead cards, feature cards.
Yeah, because I don't think maybe top 40.
Yeah.
In that realm. He was with Brody Smith, probably in that realm. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's smart to sign him or not. Like, if it's fairly nominal, sure, keep him on the team.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it
was kind of a test. I mean, both parties agreed that it was kind of a test year with the shoulder thing just to see how he played. But
yeah,
I think he did okay.
Yeah. And I think DD just basically went out and got everybody they could last year that would take them.
Yeah.
And I think this year they're going to do a little more soul searching and figure out exactly who's right for their team. So I think you might see a lot of people leave their team again. And I'm sure the speculation is going to go that Jeremy Rusko's out of business, bankrupt again and all that stuff. But how about Brody Smith?
I know, I was just going to bring that up.
So I think he is too ingrained with his Get Freaky line. And I think he moves so much plastic that I think he'll get an extension with Discraft.
I don't think anybody's willing to pay him more than what Discraft's willing to pay him either.
So. Maybe. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He has the entire foundation behind him.
Yeah.
And the marketing power that he has is incredible. Because all he has to do is just say, hey, I'm going to DD, or I'm going to Clash, or I'm going to Lone Star. And they will immediately double their business. Some of the boutique brands. And some of the other stuff, he'll be a needle mover for them no matter what.
I suppose.
Because you think, when he moves, all of a sudden they'll do a bunch of drops that are specific to, foundation, and they'll just move plastic just because of that. And
that's a good point.
So I think he's the one that's going to say, this is what I want. So I think he's probably one of the first people aside from Paul Macbeth to say, this is what you're going to pay me. And if not, I'm off. I think he has that leverage.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I mean, do you really think, or are you just kind of?
No, I think, like you said, his ability to move plastic is really what drives things for him.
Yeah. Well, and his reach.
Yeah.
It's his plastic and his reach. It's incredible because he has the marketing engine and he has the retail engine.
Yeah.
Like, it's there.
It is.
Like, he doesn't have to do anything else, and they're established. So for a manufacturer to not see value in that is really, really nearsighted.
Yeah.
It'd be really bad.
Right.
I think, because you think 2 million YouTube subscribers right in that area. I think he might be a little lower now. But he's at that 2 million-ish mark. He has 100,000 subscribers. Well, when I say it's a foundation, but there's 100,000 subscribers, pretty darn close to on Grip Locked, I think. And then the Bogey Bro banner is like some 20-some thousand subscribers. And then, you go crazy. On and on. Like,
it's so crazy.
It's crazy. It's probably an additional 150 to 200,000 subscriber base. So he's like 2.2, 2.3 million people that he can just, here you go.
Yeah.
So, and they're hardcore fans. Like, fans of Brody Smith are hardcore fans.
That's pretty true.
So,
what do you think of the Finns, Eva or Hannah and Evelina? Do you think one of them will jump from Innova?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who. No, because wasn't Poole on Salinen's bag? Not Salinen. Blumroof's bag.
Who?
Jonathan Poole.
Oh, wow.
From Innova. I think he was on her bag. Is it her bag or was it Hannah's? I don't remember. He was on one of their bags.
Yeah.
I don't think she would leave. Whoever's bag she was on. I can't get those two mixed up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I think whoever it is, there's a good chance. But, man, like, Innova's been good to those two.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part. I don't know what their numbers look like. But I have a feeling that, like, Discmania, Latitude, Clash, like that Finnish and Scandinavian, European brands in general, like maybe even Prodigy, I could see one of them jumping to them.
I could see that.
So, and my mind always says Lat 64 just simply because they're a powerhouse there.
Yeah.
But, I can see one of them moving.
I could see that.
Because they're both up for contract renewals this year, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'd like to see one of them move.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
It'd be fun news.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because they're kind of like, they go hand in hand.
They're
good friends off the course, like all that stuff. So I'd like to see that parody a little bit, like that duality, just the head-to-head competition with them and see.
Yeah.
I can't think off the top of my head. I can't think of anybody else that's moving. No, I can't think of anybody else. So
I mean, like last year, we didn't think of that many people, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, this person's moving, that person's moving. It's like
just nuts.
Musical chairs. Yeah.
Because Dickerson's locked down for another 2 years. Let's go over the big ones.
Yep.
Calvin just got locked down. He was one of the big movers. Eagle nothing's been out there for Eagle yet.
Yeah.
So he's up for extension this year, potentially. And I think he'll stay with Discmania. I'm pretty sure Eagle is. Or did he get the extension last year?
Man, part of me thinks like he signed something fairly recently.
Yeah. So Ricky, he's staying. He's there for 4 more years. Simon's staying. He's there at least 1 more year. I think he had the extension for 3 years. And then I'm trying to think of who go on down. Isaac Robinson. So I think he's up for 1.
Yeah. Somebody like Aaron Gossage, maybe.
Ezra Aderhold as well. Austin Hannum. Okay, now I'm starting to think of Adam Hammis. Like, there's quite a few.
Adam Hammis signed a 2-year extension last year.
Was it 2 year? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to stay. But
right. But we were like, who else were we? Because like we speculated like maybe someone like Chandler Fry or some of those mid-level or just below top tier.
Yeah. Melton.
Yeah.
Melton's up this year too. And Hannum would be an interesting one because of Katrina going over to DGA. Well, what about Katrina? She was only a single year.
No, she was more than that. Wasn't she?
I think it was a single year.
That's surprising.
I thought it was kind of like a tester thing.
Okay.
I'll have to look at it. But remember, her contract, it wasn't very out in the open. It was just
that's
she
true.
signed. But I want to say the rumors are that it was 1 year.
Okay.
I wonder if she would change too.
I don't know.
And then so with Hannum, I just don't know. Like, you haven't heard much of Hannum.
No.
Like, I don't even think I've seen him in the top 10 this year.
No, he made it onto a lead card at one point. I don't remember what the tournament was. I remember seeing him.
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I would too.
But I mean, that goes to show you, like, year before that and the year before that, you saw him on a couple lead cards actually fighting. And there's a couple ones, like pretty famous ones with Paul Macbeth, where he was like right in the running with Paul Macbeth and it just melted. But yeah, I think he lies on the same line of Thomas Gilbert, where if he doesn't renew with Prodigy, like, he's not, who's going to pick him up?
Right.
You know, because he left from Discraft to Prodigy, and then like he's not going to move needles. No. You know, I mean, he's good with his hot takes, but even that is not even that good anymore. Like, he doesn't post much anymore about that stuff. No. He must have been reprimanded.
Maybe.
You need to stop that. So, all right. I don't have anybody else.
Yeah, I can't come up with anybody right now either.
All right. So let's see. Random question. If you were a color, what color would you be?
A color?
Just a color.
Ooh.
Not a skin color, just a color.
Yeah.
What color do you identify with?
I know I wear a lot of blue, like navy blue.
Why?
I don't know. I just like it.
It feels right.
It just feels right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like some green.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's would be my color I identify with is green. I agree. So
I don't want anything that like really pops.
Like, you don't want to stand out?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Not like a yellow. Like, there's always like, they always say, oh, like white's really neutral, or yellow means you paint your kitchen or whatever color, yellow because it's a happy color and like it comes together and you're eating dinner and everybody's happy. Or there's always weird meanings behind colors.
There is. Yeah.
Red's angry, or you never want to drive a red car because it looks like it's going faster than it actually is, like that kind of thing. Or it's flashy,
When I was designing my logo for my coaching business, I was just like, I don't understand why I have to go through color choices. Like, just like, I think green is cool. Let's do green. Yeah. So green represents, and I'm like, seriously? Like, do we really have to go through this? Like, I like green. Just put green on. You know? And we ended up changing it. He ended up changing my mind because of whatever reason it was. I don't remember.
Huh. And like then, greed or something?
It was. I don't remember.
I was thinking it was like a 3 years ago, or like growth, or something like that.
No, it has to do with something with like strength, and it's weird.
Okay,
like, it's strange when it comes to logos. Colors identify like or represent something different.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's this whole science behind it, and it's nuts. Like, it's crazy. And the documentation that I had to read to figure out what color we had to settle on.
Oh man.
Just like, and it's funny because I haven't looked in that logo. Like, I don't pay attention to that logo at all. So I don't even remember what color it is, because I don't brand anything in it. The only thing that it's like in a letterhead, maybe, like, sure. And that's it. So it's just funny. Yeah. So there you go. So I'd be green and you'd be navy blue.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So here's the shop updates. So the hot stamp is up and running. So we actually have a hot stamper in the shop, and now we can stamp people's discs. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it is. So we only have gold and blue foil at the present moment. But I'm going to try to reach out there and just get some solid colors because it's such thin, clean lines for our logo and the thing that having any sort of pattern on it, it actually makes it so we have a gold like starburst.
Yeah.
And when you use that one, it almost looks like it's dropout. Oh. Because of the different shades of colors and stuff.
Okay.
So it's kind of goofy. So I'm just going to go and I'll get probably like some solid colors like black and white and whatever. And then, but right now I have blue and gold that are both solid that work pretty well. And then we have our store stamp being ordered and we're going to put it on Lone Star or Clash. I'm pushing towards, Lone Star, but we'll potentially do it on Clash as well. We're going to try to do some kind of off-brand. Maybe we'll do it on Class Blast. Who knows? Oh. But no, I think it'll probably most likely be Lone Star, but we might put it on Clash. Got the Supreme Escapes coming in. We have the Orbit Pures and the Ice Glimmer Bounties. And then we have a Discraft restock. So that all should be up by the weekend. And our shop is now Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just for the off-season here. And if we get the demand, we'll open it back up. But we still process orders every day. No issues. So we have about 3 or 4 or 5, 6, however many orders come in every day. And we get them sent out right away. So there's no delay in that. But other than that, just keep an eye on the website. We'll put it up on the featured page. Everything that comes in, it'll drop right on the main page. So
nice.
Outside of that, anything else?
I just dropped a bunch of stuff off at the store the other day.
Oh, I thought you were talking about OnlyFans. You were going to say you dropped a bunch of stuff on the OnlyFans.
No.
Okay. Yeah, he did. He did drop a bunch of stuff at the shop. I kind of went through it and I was like, oh. And it was a Moonshine Explorer that I know Jordan throws. So I texted him right away. He never got back to me. He's been ignoring my texts. I think he's mad at me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll hold back the tears. So what haul was there? Because I saw that like 2 went out almost immediately.
Wait, what? What's that?
Like I think you got an EMAC.
I had a Moonshine EMAC. Yeah, I saw that one went pretty fast.
Joe actually bought that one.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We had a couple others go out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I brought in like 12 discs. Most of them were like Trilogy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Moonshine Explorer. I think I brought in a regular Ricky, one of the new Ricky Explorers.
I saw that, yeah.
I was like, yeah, it was okay. Trespass, maybe 2 Trespasses, a Biofusion.
Yeah, I saw like there was a Truth as well in there, like a regular Truth Burst, classic Burst Truth or something like that.
Yeah, classic Burst, EMAC, or Hand Eye Supply.
Right, yeah.
It's had a gold Hand Eye Supply. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what else. Biofusion Felon? Biofusion Convict, I think.
Oh, yeah, the Convict. I saw the Convict and I was like, ooh. Because that'd be a nice, I don't know if it's beat in or not. I didn't really look at the condition of it, but.
The Felon's definitely beat.
Okay.
The Convict was pretty beat in.
Because when they get beat in, they are beautiful flyers. Like, I really like Convicts. I think they're a fairly underrated disc. Mm-hmm. I don't throw them, but I used to. So check out the used section on the site. We'll send those out as well. They're pretty reasonably priced. They're not too bad. So, because we don't give JP a lot of money for them. So, just for his good looks.
Yeah.
Meh. So, all right. I think outside of that, just keep it subpar and peace.